All right, Marcellus, so were you more impressed with Washington or disappointed in the Giants?
Oh, this question only has one answer. Everyone was disappointed in the Giants. How many times and how many ways did they give that game away to finally Washington said, okay, we'll accept your gifts. Oh, my God, this was insane. Let's start here. What about the holding call, negating a 58-yard touchdown run by my man Daniel Jones, who didn't fall down this time, kept it going all the way to the end zone, but he has to bring it back, points off the board. What about that drop by Darius Slayton? Oh, my God, in the end zone. What are you doing, Darius Slayton? This ain't Pop Warner, but this is high school teaching. When the quarterback's in the middle of the field and you are running a post route, you have to run to the upfield goalpost. Why? Because the ball's going to come from the middle to the outside. So guess what? When you're running like this, the angle means it's going to cross over your face, not going to drop right here in your hand. And then he realizes this. Golly, I know he was haunted by his high school football coach. Like, what am I doing? Just drop the easy one. That's 14 points right there, guys. Let's talk about the neutral zone infraction. Gave him a first down on a game-winning drive. And then this one right here, good Lord. Dexter Lawrence. Now, this one is, to me, questionable, maybe a bad call. He got off the rock like Cortez Kennedy used to get off the rock. And if y'all don't remember Cortez Kennedy, we used to watch film of him and say, he got to be guessing. Ain't nobody that quick off the football. And Cortez Kennedy was, and Dexter Lawrence last night was, maybe too quick. So quick that the referee said, hey, we ain't seen Cortez Kennedy film in a while. We just going to call that. Ain't no way you got off that fast. But that's it. So finally, you get the gift if you're the Washington football team. Yeah, you'll accept this victory, but did you earn it? Hell no. I'm so disappointed in these G-men.
Yeah, I will say I'm impressed with Taylor Heinicke and what he's been able to do coming in as the backup. We're talking about a guy who was a backup in the XFL not that long ago. So impressed there. But yes, without question, more disappointed in the Giants for all the things that you mentioned. And Dexter getting off quick. Okay, it's a field goal. Are you gonna sack the holder, or what are you trying to attempt here in this case, right? I don't understand why you're going to be offsides in this instance. And I'll even go back further to when the Giants kicked their last field goal. They only took 16 seconds off the clock before they ultimately kicked that field goal. They did nothing to burn clock. So not only am I putting this on Dexter, but it was a comedy of errors. Joe Judge did his part in contributing to this loss. But to your point, Marcellus, this game could have been won a half dozen different ways. And Washington took advantage of the mistakes, but the mistakes were made that opened the door.
Okay. I'm going to stand up for Dexter Lawrence, and I'm going to stand up because it's personal. My dad was Dexter Lawrence's high school coach. He coached as a D-line coach at Wake Forest Roseville High School. So what I'm going to say was an egregious error for Dexter Lawrence, but he was well coached and he knows not to jump off. That's it. He's blocked a handful of kicks in his career in college, and maybe he felt like he could be a superhero at that point. That's it. I am really disappointed in the Giants because a team and a coach that prides himself and themselves in being disciplined, tough, accountable, and all those things, too many errors in critical situations. The holding penalty that negated Daniel Jones' touchdown, being unable to come up with the catch down the field when you have, really, we call it a lottery ticket. Daniel Jones spots open receiver down the field. You got to cash that in. And so, to me, the Giants were a team that was clearly the better team last night, but they didn't get it done. And so now I'm looking at Joe Judge and this 0-2 Giants football team sideways, because the team that many thought that they would contend for a playoff spot or maybe even win the NFC East, right now they're in the cellar dweller. For the fifth year in a row, they're 0-2, not the start that we expected from the G-men.
Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about Joe Judge right there, because like you said, get the ball, watch them 20-yard line. You get super conservative, go for the field goal, don't manage the clock properly, you lose that game as well. We all know that talk is cheap, especially in a physical sport like football. And Joe Judge is guilty of tough talk. I'm not a fan of this whole stern, tough talk approach and giving me all these mantras when the guys are actually not out there playing with that same mental toughness or even that physical toughness. Now, they should have won this game, but at the same time, Coach, you barking a lot more than that bite. And I'm starting to get a little off on Joe Judge because I'm not seeing it materialize fully to his team. That said, I do see Jason Garrett starting to have some imprint on Daniel Jones in terms of his success and efficiency. That was his 29th game last night, but only his 4th game in Daniel Jones where he didn't have an interception or he didn't have a fumble. And 4 of those last 7 games, that's when that occurred. So of late, we're starting to see Daniel Jones try to fix his turnover issues, which is undermining a lot of his good things. 102 passer rating, 7th game of his career where he was over 100. So he's starting to show flashes of why they drafted him so high. Some say too high. But all that said, it's not going to work if coach is not going to instill the proper culture, not just talk the proper culture. Because I think that's what you do when you leave Bill Belichick. You say what Bill Belichick would say. You act like Bill Belichick would act. But damn it got to materialize. And I think it needs to come from a place of authenticity. I'm not questioning fully Joe Judge, but I'm starting to look at his team saying they're leaking in a direction that he told me they would never leak. And now that's going to start to point the finger at you.
Yeah, there's a lot of disappointment to go around. I'm actually disappointed in the Washington football team as well, particularly their defense. I expected them to be a lot better than they were, and this was an opportunity that was missed. But you know what I'm really disappointed in? I'm disappointed in the show that Bucky Brooks is having to have right now, because first he had to defend Dak Prescott in the indefensible, and now he's got to defend Dexter Lawrence.
Oh,
my goodness, Bucky Brooks. I can't get past any of that. I am feeling for you now, bro.
Yeah, look, I've been backed up in the corner the entire day, just trying to fight myself out, much like Joe Judge is going to have to fight out of the corner with these New York Giants, because a team that really is a really talented team. They try to do everything to upgrade the personnel around Daniel Jones. They brought in Kadarius Toney. You see Kenny Galladay, and both of those guys are already griping about not being involved enough in the offense. Defensively, they're not necessarily playing up to snuff, because Patrick Graham did a great job last year of getting this group to play at a high level. You can see the energy, the effort, the intensity when they're playing. Right now, we're not seeing that. And so I'm really worried about this team, because I feel like Daniel Jones played about as well as Daniel Jones could play last night. That's probably one of the best games that we've seen from him in terms of using his entire game, using his legs, using his arm, being efficient, taking care of the ball, all of those things. And it still didn't result in a win. So if Daniel Jones plays at that level and they can't win, how are the New York Giants going to win when he normally doesn't play at that level? Look, it just looks like a tough road ahead for the New York Giants.
Exactly. Daniel Jones, 69% completion percentage, which was the 3rd best of his career, and y'all still lose. And not only that, as much as Taylor Heinicke was out there balling, and I'm on Taylor Heinicke in terms of supporting him. I hear a lot of people still off on him, but last year watching him play in the playoffs against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you saw that game, and they were within 5 points at the end of the ball game. So he keeps them going, man. Whatever you want to say about his connection with his receiving core, it's something to watch. It's something to witness. I think he plays big in big moments. So I got respect for him right now. But his team, especially offensively, still bad on 3rd down, still bad on money down. Against the Chargers, 30%, 3 for 10. Last night, 30% once again. Wait a minute. So Taylor Heinicke out there balling, but y'all not balling on 3rd down. And then we get a great game from Daniel Jones, and that still doesn't add up to a victory. Something ain't right. If the players out there getting it done and it ain't adding up, now it's starting to look at the sidelines. Watch your head, Joe.